Time now for this week's Goofy Award. You know, the cancellation of Jimmy Kimmel, predictably, took very little time to split the public into familiar political camps. Not even a cold blooded murder or Kimmel's grossly inaccurate accusation that the shooter was part of the MAGA gang, which was totally contradicted by the prosecutors and the shooter's own parents. But not only that, could stop that. I mean, not surprisingly, it didn't take long for the talk show celebrity to make it actually all about himself, as he did this week in his return to the airwaves. And for fans to anoint him as a free speech martyr, sorry, no sale here. But a quick glance at the U.S. Constitution, by the way, their First Amendment, it guarantees the right to speak freely with protection from the government, which, of course, Jimmy Kimmel still had. He just wasn't on syndicated TV. It was all a bit much for me. That's the bottom line. And that brings me to this week's Goofy. Is there bias in these late night talk show hosts, as so many accuse? Newsbuster actually tracked the political affiliation of guests on the late night shows from January 2023 to this past July 2025. They did it for The Kimmel Show, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, Daily Show. And to say there was a one-sided political slant, well, it's an understatement. 97.2% of the guests were liberals/Democrats. For example, look at Stephen Colbert. Out of 177 guests he had on, there was just one conservative/Republican. Seth Meyers didn't have a single person from the right out of his 68 guests. Jimmy Kimmel had 2 out of 60. The Daily Show had 9 out of a total of 166 guests. I mean, come on. With that, there's not going to be any debate. There's no chance for discussion if you never feature the other side. But you'll have to forgive me. I'm not buying the media as victims. Hey, by the way, I was personally canceled, the show with the biggest market share on the station. I guess I had too many questions about COVID, but I never said a word. It was their right. I just had the privilege, not the right, of broadcasting on a privately owned station. But it's been a fascinating couple of weeks with this. And again, I'm still in that camp that says, there's maybe some other more important issues than Jimmy Kimmel. But I appreciate they wanted to discuss free speech. Well, let's have a real discussion about it.